Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rolling Love Story. This season, we're working on hypotheticals. So, I have a list of hypotheticals here, and we'll be tackling them off one by one as each episode goes on. And today, we are looking at a superhero campaign or Avengers in D&D. And Sam, I will throw the question over to you first because I know you've been stewing on some ideas for doing like a superhero campaign. So what would that look like in D&D? How would you convert that? What were the steps that you would take?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I think the first place to go with this is like, what level of superheroes are you going for? Are they like Batman, Spider-Man level superheroes where they're like pretty strong? You know,
Pretty strong.
there's some super strength in there. There's some,
Yeah,
there's some strong. Or are you going like
neighborhood,
Superman level,
like
Omni
world.
Man level? Like, what sort of power level do you want to go to? Because I think that defines quite a lot about where the campaign will go.
Uh,
Um, when it comes to translating that into maybe fifth edition, I think if you're going, weapons and things like that, you can easily flavor them as claws or massive teeth, or
harangues.
batarangs, or you've got a toad tongue like Toad from X-Men.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
totally flavor those things as that, and that's not an issue.
Okay, so like doing a bow as like a toad tongue. So like,
Yeah,
oh, you can
I
hit
personally
and
wouldn't have
miss.
an issue with that. I think
I
what
see.
you do have to do, and this is the thing I'd say to people that are considering this, is you have to allow the rule of cool to an extent that perhaps you wouldn't in most normal campaigns. Like, you're going to have to let some stuff slide. Like, if you start getting into the is Toad's tongue a melee attack or a ranged attack, do you know what I mean? You're gonna
So
get into
true.
some murky water, and opportunity attacks become a bit murky. So what I'd say is I'd go, just use a bow, but the bow is your tongue, or the bow
Yeah,
is your scorpion tail, or your spidey webs, or whatever.
yeah.
Those sorts of things would make an easily translation. I don't think the actual core abilities of D&D are hard to translate. Like,
Mm.
Rhino in Spider-Man is going to be a barbarian, isn't he? He's going to be a
Yes.
big bruiser
Yeah.
barbarian.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
got
yeah,
a big
true.
horn, which could be a great axe, and he's just smashing people with it.
Yeah.
It's an easy translation.
So would you start with like the class first and then go backwards, or would you start with a hero and then try and find the class that fits?
So I think, again, it depends. If people are going to make their own, like, are you coming up with your own bespoke superhero, or are you picking a
Mm.
superhero that's an established one, like
Bespoke. I
Spider-Man? Or
think I think
so
most people are
if we're
going to try
going,
and make their own,
if we're
right?
going to go bespoke, I personally would start with my superhero name. So I'd come up with a six
Of
superhero
course.
name.
Of course.
Uberman, or whatever ridiculous name you can come up with,
Yeah.
and then I'd work backwards from there, and I go, okay, so what powers are they going to have? Okay, he's going to be super strong. Like, if you went for the Omni Man Invincible archetype, he's going to be super
Mm.
strong. He can fly.
Go Aarakocra to
Yeah,
get like the fly
and yeah,
speed.
maybe you could do Aarakocra and fly, or things like that. I think you can pinch things from places and then fit the class to what your idea was, I think.
So would you? Because my first thought was to like pick the class first and then work the other way
Interesting.
because I think it might be easier to have all your set rules and
Hmm.
then convert them to something superhero like.
Yeah.
So you could be like, I'm a barbarian. Okay, well, my rage is just like I'm like invincible and I can just take loads of hits, and or I go into like a battle fury or something like that. Um, and then work backwards like a rogue. You know what you're dealing with, and then you
Yeah.
can convert it into superhero. So from the way you were doing it, would you allow people to take different things from different classes to make something like a superhero, or do you think that's a balancing nightmare?
It would be a balancing nightmare. It would be a balancing nightmare. What I might do is a starting level item. Is I
Oh,
might
okay.
start everybody at level 5 and go, everyone gets a cool item. It's going to be a
Hmm.
bespoke item that, like,
Hmm.
is kind of what I'd call a build enhancer. It's like,
Okay, yeah,
it's bespoke to your build. It's made to make you better at that thing.
yeah.
Um,
So working with your player when they've decided,
Working with
oh,
your
I
player.
really want to be the Flash, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to give you an
Okay,
item
cool.
that
Well, we'll
gives you
give you
some
these
more
boots
speed,
that
so that you can,
exactly.
yeah.
Or, I want to be Omni Man. I want to be super strong, but I
Mm.
don't want to play Aarakocra. I want to play, like, um, I want to be a human or whatever,
Yeah.
because you like those abilities or whatever. But you go, cool, I'm going to give you the boots of flight, but it's a cape, so you can fly.
Okay,
But
cool.
we fluff it as an item, but you can fly.
Cool.
That sort of stuff, I think,
Yeah.
can be an easy fix.
I mean, multi-classing as well could definitely come in handy.
Definitely multi-classing.
Like choosing. I think the thing is if you really want to get into it, you are going to have to like just go explore, have fun with it. I think sometimes what I find with conversions is that's the fun. It's like trying to make these things work by doing multi-classing, by trying to like wheedle items out of your DM to like really make that superhero that you want. Would you? So that item that you said, like you've got boots of flying, but would that be an item or would it be like just something you attach to the character?
I would say it's an attached thing, because what would suck, what would absolutely suck,
cape, and then...
is my cape gets ripped or somebody breaks my boots and then I'm just grounded. That would suck.
Yeah.
I would really hate that. And that doesn't feel like a superhero, unless your superhero is you've got an amulet that gives you powers and that's your thing. Like that's okay. You want that to be
like
your
Green
thing.
Lantern.
Like Green Lantern, exactly. Or like I think like probably. Does Hawkman have an element of that, like some enchanted items or something like that?
I know Batman is just items.
He's just items, money.
I just having a thought. I was like, Batman, you could be an artificer, right?
Oh yeah, that would
Batman
be
artificer.
Yeah,
Flash, you could be a monk, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. Who else could? Can you think of any others that are like?
We can blend DC and Marvel here.
True.
So my Captain America would be a fighter. He'd just be a fighter.
Oh
He'd be like you could probably go champion fighter just for the ease of it.
Yeah.
And then just be has a sword, but his sword is actually a shield or something. You know, he has a shield and maybe a sword, but it's actually just a fist.
Get away with barbarian and just having.
You could get away with barbarian, exactly.
Just get away with that.
Exactly, like
so you got choice there.
You could do Battle Master Fighter.
Iron Man, you can be an artificer as well.
Iron Man, you could be
because there's literally an armor suited one. There's literally like the artificer of.
Interestingly, with Iron Man, you could be cleric and be like a heavy armored, and like your magic is actually Iron Man tech.
Oh, that's cool.
So
this is a good thing.
So like, you could go magic is tech spells, and then that blends the whole thing together a little bit, which would be super, super cool.
Because we're doing a bit of that we're playing the mech campaign at the moment, which is like Pacific Rim mechs, and a lot of what we're doing is changing spells into cool tech things.
Drones is the thing that's being done a lot, isn't it?
Drones,
I open my mech's chest opens and 400,000 drones pour out.
Yeah. So like, I think there's loads of stuff to be said about like changing spells into like superhero abilities.
Yeah, definitely.
You go with something that's like a half caster that has like less spells, because I guess Iron Man you could be a full caster because he has so many different access to tech, and Batman probably as well, so you could do something full caster there. I guess like Scarlet Witch, you could do Scarlet Witch as a wizard or a sorcerer.
Doctor Strange, same thing. You can do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. So there's loads of things you can do. What about like the world? Like what would you do with that? Like,
so I've got this is a bit of a sneak peek behind what I'm considering doing, a sort of superhero campaign at some point. And my idea is to kind of pinch a little bit from One Punch Man. If anybody's seen One Punch Man, and have big cities, but have sections of the city. And everyone's defending the city, and you're like, or like part of the superhero league and stuff like that. That could be kind of quite fun.
What's the purpose of like splitting it into districts? Is that to help it manage it a little bit better?
I think it's easy to manage. I think also I have previously overfaced myself by almost over naming parts of a world map. And then tripping myself up. And then actually sometimes it's cool to have it be a bit looser. Now, what I've done before is in my first Cyberpunk campaign, we pretty much played in one giant megacity. And that was cool, but it felt almost limited by the fact that it was one city. Whereas having districts of the city and splitting it up and making each district have a unique aspect means you can have the megacity vibe, but there's distinct parts. It's easy to go, all units to Sector B. It's easy to do that.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
and everyone knows that Sector B is here. Like, that's easy to do.
You can give each sector a kind of own personality, which means the
That's
city
what I
has
want.
different elements than
That's
just
what I
being
want.
one amorphous
Yes.
giant mega
And
block.
I'm going to do a bit of a
Okay.
Hunger Games pinch, because Games did
Yeah.
the world building for all of the districts really well.
Yes.
The closer they get to like whatever the core, the
Yeah, it's a
center is.
classic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. So maybe there's an aspect of that. I don't know. Like, are they in concentric rings? Is it just split into a grid? I just don't know. But I'm excited to work that out.
One thing Hunger Games does really well with that as well is each district has a thing. Like one of them is like the farmland.
Yes.
One of them is like I really liked that about
There's
it.
a uniqueness to each of them, and I think they like you say, they do that
mining,
really well.
Isn't it? Like the herd of Katniss is like mining. So
and then some of them are like
affects the culture itself.
Yeah, are they like the soldiers? Like the sector 1 and 2, district 1 and 2 are like kind of warrior, like more high end sort of people.
Yeah, I think that one of them makes like jewelry. I think like section 1 is like jewelry or something, or
crafters
like,
and stuff,
crafters and tailors and stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. But that would be really cool to
I think
take.
that'd be a cool thing to explore. Just gonna yawn. Oh, theatrically large yawn.
Theatrically large, just so it pans off and no one like goes like, "What's he yawning?" Are you gonna do like the categories of like fret like they do in
I think so.
One Punch Man? Like,
I think so.
Dragon level.
Yeah, this one's dragon level. I think that's cool. I've really enjoyed you've been doing that in the Pacific Rim campaign of like, it's a category 2.
Yeah.
And
They
like
do
that. That feels awesome, because you're like, oh no, it's become category 3. Oh my god, like this is crazy.
It's
like
just bigger than the last one.
Yeah. That's really fun. I think that's really fun. And also you end up with we've destroyed 2 category 2s, and like you get the kind of like the kudos of what you've achieved.
It's a really clear way to like build up the stakes and give people that kind of palpable way of improving. Like, oh, we're fighting a category 3. That is just bigger than a category 2.
Yeah.
Oh, we fought 2 category 2s instead of 1 category 2.
Yeah.
They can see the progression more, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I know you've been watching a lot of Invincible recently, which I know is a massive favourite of everybody.
Yeah.
I know you're very early on, so
I am.
any
Season
spoilers.
1.
But I think you said to me that that series has inspired you
it does.
to do the kind of superhero. What about Invincible are the things that you want to keep for your, like, what things have really inspired you? What things are you planning to try and like pull from it?
So my plan is to do high power level.
Okay, really nice.
Because I think they do that really well. Like Omni-Man is just unkillably mad, and he just and even not Omni-Man, like other people are insanely powerful. Like Invincible is really powerful.
Yeah.
I really like that. I think it does something really cool that The Boys also does, which is that it's the power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely concept of the when you give people that level of power, what does it do to them? Like what? Because the limits are just gone. Like, why would they abide by laws? Like Homelander, why would he abide by any laws? He doesn't need to. No one can kill him.
Yeah.
So it's at the end of the day, like, you gonna lock me up? You can try.
Yeah. They explored this a lot with like Superman as well. I haven't read any of it, but I know like Superman always has that kind of like going into the tyrant sometimes. Like the evil Superman things are real, like, because I think when you see a character that's so powerful that you like, who can even stand against that? It's so interesting to then be like, okay, what happens when that power corrupts and they become tyrannical? And they're like, okay, I am a good guy and I know what's good for everybody. Like,
yeah,
so I
know DC did a quite cool set of comics, which I remember. Like, I used to go on Marvel Wiki a lot and just or like DC Wiki and just read loads of stuff, because I'm one of those wiki page people. And apparently there was a Superman comic where it was an alternate reality where Superman crash lands in Russia. And he becomes like a Soviet Superman, and that is a cool idea. A really cool idea of like what like different cultures. How would that influence you growing up? And I thought that was cool. So what I really like about Invincible is the power level. I also like the flawed superheroes. I also know my friends will make amazing. I know all you guys will make amazing superheroes, and everyone will have such cool ones. And also, this sounds so dumb, but I can't wait for the alliterated names. You know, the classic,
yeah.
the
For
classic
sure.
superhero thing. And
For
I
sure.
think that would be good. The Peter Parker, like
Peter Parker, Wade Wilson,
Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
There's so many.
There's so many,
and they're all good. They're all
they
brilliant.
are all good. Yeah, alliteration is a powerful tool for like
It is.
remembering and for punch. Like, it is good.
Yeah, 100%.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I think that'd be really cool. My final note, I don't want to tell you anything about it because I don't
No,
have any fleshed
please
out
don't,
villains,
'cause I wanna
but
play it.
bad guy villains, I'm excited to do some superhero villains.
They're always the best.
They're
Aren't they?
really fun.
They're always
They're really
so
fun.
much fun. And yeah, like superhero bad guys, but would be
That's
so
kind of what I
fun to
mean.
get
Like,
involved
I
with,
spend a lot of time with boss fights making them as superhero as possible, and now I can literally just have like
make them
the
superhero.
classic superhero supervillain guys, which would be great.
Well, it's really interesting because I played a kind of superhero character before in your Cyberpunk one, and now it's like I wonder what other type I get a chance to kind of make something second. Like I did kind of the big superhero.
You did
All
the
Might type character, which was quite cool.
Yeah.
So
did
like,
that.
what's next? Because there's so many archetypes you can pick.
That's what I mean. There's a lot. Because I know the other day we were talking about it, and you were going, "Oh, you know, I've done superheroes before. Like, I don't know where I'm going to go." And I think there's limitless. Like you say, you could do the speedster, which would be insanely cool. Like the
speedster,
like beating someone up. Like that would be so cool.
Yeah. I don't know. There's loads. There's
too many, man.
There's too many.
This is the thing. There's too many, and you can also you can cross over loads of superheroes. You can be like, I'm going to take this bit from them, this bit from them, this bit from them.
But like, you do have to make it link over an overarching like thing, though.
Of course,
for sure.
Of course you do.
For sure. I want to. Yeah. Interested. I think the personality thing is going to be the most interesting thing for playing a superhero. Like, what are the flaws? What are like the hamartia? What's the tragic flaw of my superhero? Like, where are they best manipulated? You know,
that's going to be fun.
That's the thing, because a lot of it is like the superheroes are good, but the only thing that separates superheroes from the villains is like a really strong moral, and like there's a difference between like there's a difference between like Superman's morals and Batman's morals.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting difference between superheroes, is like their moral code and where that makes them. So exciting stuff. Yeah. So that is how we would turn a D&D campaign into a superhero campaign.
Yeah.
I hope that's been informative and helpful.
Yeah.
And anything to say, Sam?
I think all I'll say is just let us know what you would do. What superhero would you make? Leave it in the comments for us. Maybe you could slip me some good ideas for my own upcoming campaign, which would be great. And standard stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Great hosting, by the way, Connor. Really enjoyed that.
Oh, thank you.
You did very well on that. Well done.
Thank you very much. It's very
good.
kind. Yeah, I took a little bit more of the host role just because I know Sam is planning stuff like this, so it's really good to like pick your brain and get some information about how you're approaching that kind of campaign.
Sick.
Awesome. Amazing. Okay, guys. See you in 2 weeks.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.
Keep rolling.